She's locked in her own room because of her date.
So this wasn't our first date. This was actually our third date. We had gone on an initial date about a week and a half ago. Our second date was actually a double date with some of my friends who actually really liked him a lot. And then he asked me last night to go to dinner. So since it had been our third date and we've been communicating almost every day, I was like, okay, come pick me up and we'll go to dinner. Dinner was going amazing. We were vibing. Literally no red flags had presented themselves at this point. So here in San Diego, restaurants close really early, like 10 o'clock. So we left the restaurant and I was like, well, since I live close, I have some wine at the house. Why don't we go back to the house and have some wine? Because honestly, we were vibing, having a great time, and I didn't want the night to end. So we get back here, and this is where things go south really fast. I get the wine out, pour 2 glasses for the 2 of us, and I was like, let me run out and take the dogs out, let them, do their business, and I'll be right back. Literally only gone for like 3-4 minutes max, and he had already chugged his entire glass of wine, and he's starting to get really sloppy and kissing me and touching me and being gropey, and I was like, ugh. I immediately got the ick, and I was like, I am not here for a drunk makeout sesh, whatever. So I was like, you know what, I'm tired, I actually want to go to bed. And he just kept being persistent about it. And I was like, no, I need you to respect my boundaries. No means no. And he was drunk, so I was like, you can sleep on the couch. I went and got him some pillows and blankets and set him up on the couch. And then while I was doing that, he gets in my bed, and I was like, absolutely not, we're not sleeping in the bed. Not sleeping in my bed. And then he proceeds to throw up in my bed. Well, partially threw up in his hand, and he runs to the bathroom. And I was like, you have got to be effing kidding me. This isn't happening. This is a nightmare. And so he's in the bathroom throwing up in the sink. There's a toilet right there, there's a bathtub right there, but no, he chooses to throw up in the sink. And once he's done throwing up, he starts crying and just what did I do wrong? You don't want anything to do with me, just being super whiny and crying. And I was just so awkward and so over it. I'm like, no, I'm not having any of this. And then he's just please just let me hug you. And he just kept getting in my personal space. And that's a big thing for me, boundaries, is don't get in my personal space. If I've told you, do not touch me, do not touch me. And so I was like, no, please stay away from me. And so I ended up just going into my room and locking the door. And then he proceeds to follow me to the door and trying to open it, seeing it's locked. And he's just talking to me through the door, and he's banging and talking. So when you saw the video, he had been standing there for about 5 minutes, talking to me.
Oh yeah, baby. I just want to lie down next to you. I just need to hug right now. Hurry up. Please open the door.
You're scaring me. Please go away. And I was starting to get freaked out because he was starting to get aggressive with opening the door. And I was that's when you saw the video. And I was like, please go away, go lay down, do something. Because I knew he was too drunk. And the funny thing is calling the police didn't actually even cross my mind. And I understand, watching it back, I look at it and I'm like, that should have been my very first instinct. But I think it was hard for me to wrap my head around the person that I had been getting to know for the last almost 2 weeks, so different from this person in front of me. So it was I don't know, it was kind of a mind a little bit, because I just was oh my God, what's going on? And then part of me too felt I don't know, he hadn't really done anything. Yes, it was making me really scared, but he didn't do anything. So I think in my mind, I was maybe being too nice. Even letting him stay here, definitely too nice. But yeah, so it wasn't even a thought in my mind to call the police. I started recording just in case something did happen, and that should have been the trigger in my mind. Call somebody, this isn't normal. But it's interesting because I see these videos of people going through that, and you're always oh my God, why didn't they just do this? And so, but when you're in it, it's a very different experience, and hindsight is definitely 20/20. And so yes, lesson learned for me, definitely going to call someone, the police or a friend or somebody, to be hey, this isn't right. help me out here. And then yeah, he left a huge mess in the bathroom, absolutely disgusting. This morning I had to clean all of it up, and I know he saw it because this morning I heard him when he got up to leave. He went to the bathroom and he saw it and left it there, and I was like, absolutely, I'm so done with it.
That's a big shame, to be fair. I mean, third date, and like, as she said, he met some of her friends, they'd gone out on like a double date, and they really liked him, and that's a shame. That's a big shame. He's really ruined it. I don't know why he chugged the wine. I don't understand that. I don't understand why you go back to someone's house after a date, they've asked you to go to someone's house, and you start drinking so heavily like that. So that doesn't make sense. The touching and like the whole like getting into her bed when she said you can sleep on the sofa and stuff, like, no, that's so wrong. I'd be terrified in that situation if I was her too, especially if you've got to lock yourself in a room to try and get away from that person in your own house. No, that's just awful. I don't understand why he's all of a sudden switched and acted like that. Even I'm like, I don't even know the person, I don't know her, but I'm kind of finding that hard to believe right now, why he's changed so much. And they're crying as well, and they're being sick. I mean, I'm not surprised he was sick if he was chugging wine like that, but you just don't do that. Like, personally, you'd think they'd be worried about drinking too much and making themselves throw up in front of their date, but clearly he had no shame and did not care that night, and I'm surprised she let him stay, to be honest. I wouldn't have even said, like, when she was shouting through the door saying, like, you can either leave or lay down or go do something. I wouldn't even give him the option to lay down. I'd say leave. When I come out this door, I want you to be out of the house, because, but I kind of understand where I've never been in a situation similar, but I understand what she means when she said, like, she didn't really think to call anybody, or didn't really think of herself as in that much danger despite being scared, because the person she was getting to know was so different to how she was seeing him. So I don't know if I've explained that well, if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my head, that does. I feel like you can sometimes be so caught off guard, so shocked by a person, to the point where you're just focusing on the fact that, oh my god, they're not what I thought they were. So I feel like that's what's happened there a little bit. People shouldn't criticise her for like letting him stay. I mean, at least she was safe. And if she really, really, really wanted him to leave, she would have said, I want you to go. But, you know, people can be too nice. I think she definitely, in that situation, was too nice. But at the same time, I think it would have been a really difficult situation to deal with. I don't even know what I'd do in that situation. No idea. I'd freak out. I think I'd want them to go.
Send in your videos to be featured on our channel. Thanks for watching awesome videos. Like and follow.